Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay. So let's turn to Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, and I'll read from the New International Version. It says, "Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land of the Lord your God is giving you." And notice how we see this again in the New Testament. In Ephesians chapter 6, verses 2 to 3, we read, "Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth." Notice how in the Bible, God is continually reminding us to honor our parents. Honoring our parents is the only command in the scripture that promises long life as a reward. Of course, there's no such thing as perfect parents, but most parents want what's best for their children, as I always tell my kids every day, because they think I'm always nagging them. As a young child, we rely on our parents for everything. Food, shelter, clothing. They send us to school. They work hard to give us a comfortable life. Honoring our parents includes listening and submitting to their authority. Of course, we have to discern what is good and bad, but like what I said, most parents only want what is best for their children. When I was younger and when I still lived with my parents, my dad will continually remind me every day that as long as I live in their house, I have to follow their rules. Now, those rules I didn't like because there's curfew, you have to be home on time, and as a teenager, all you want to do is go out there and have fun. But these rules were meant so that, with the intent that I will grow up to become a responsible and God-fearing adult. Now, when I got older and I moved out of the house, I was free to do anything I want and make my own decisions, but I would still call them if I needed some advice. So what happens when our parents become older? What happens when they become old and frail and they're no longer able to help us? It is a challenge today to care for elderly parents, both physically and financially. In a research published by Pew Research Center about adult children providing financial assistance to elderly parents, which was published last year in May, it said that the country Italy provided the most financial assistance to elderly parents, about 87% of them, and US came in second with 76%, and Germany with 58%. As most of you know, I work as a nursing and rehabilitation center, and most of our clients are elderly people ages 60 and above. And I remember working with this 90-year-old man. He was in the hospital for a long time because he had a bad case of pneumonia. So we worked with him for about 2 weeks, and he got stronger, was able to walk, but the doctors felt that he was ready to go home. But he still needs help caring for himself. So what we did is we met with his family. He had 6 children, by the way, and his wife is about the same age, so she's also old and frail. And I talked to one of his daughters. I said that they should come up with a plan to hire a caregiver for their father, because his wife won't be able to do that for him. And luckily, all the children live around the area. They all live close to him. And so his daughter told me, "I don't think we need to get a caregiver. Not that they're not able to financially, but they have decided as siblings that they will just take turns in taking care of their dad." And I reminded her, because some of them are still working full-time, and those that were retired were babysitting their grandchildren. And I told them it's hard to work a full-time job and go to your dad's house and help them. It's a little bit stressful on their part. And so she told me it's not a burden for them. She said when they were younger, their parents worked full-time, they had to go home and they had to care for them. And so it's just the way it is. It is the cycle of life. Now it's their turn to take care of their parents. And that statement hit me because I'm an only child. And I have nobody else to take turns to in taking care of my parents when they get sick. So I've been praying to God that when my children grow up, that they will become loving and caring to their grandparents. As adults, we become so busy with life. We get busy with work. We do a lot of things. We do community work. We help at church. And sometimes we tend to forget that our parents, our older parents, also need care. So what does the Bible say about this? In 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, it said, "If anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially his immediate family, he had denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." We should never allow the cares of the world, the material things, to overshadow what is important, and that is serving God through serving people, most especially serving our own family, our own parents. It's good to call them once a day, make sure they haven't tripped or fallen and they're not sick, to visit them once in a while if they live too far, or give them financial support if they need it and when we're able to give it. Honoring our parents does not end when we become adults. We honor and care for them until the day they die.